Hey, can you accompany me throughout the video? It's kinda lonely here. Oh, you wanna hear a story? Okay, I have a lot of stories. So today's story for you is Obscure 2. Enjoy. Hello guys, thank you for clicking on the video. In this video we're gonna know about the characters of Obscure and the lore and the history of the game Obscure 2 The Aftermath. I hope you enjoy. Let's go. The Delta Theta Gamma Brotherhood decides to throw a party to celebrate its 200-year anniversary, so Corey alongside Sven, Amy, May and June decides together to take part in it. In the afternoon of November 13th, Corey and May meets up with their friends at Sven's room. When they arrive, they are invited to sniff a concoction made from one of the light purple flowers that have been popping up around the city. After they do so, Corey falls asleep and seems to enter a wrapped and twisted version of a shore, a cemetery, where they find their own tombstones that claim they both died from their faults. For Corey, it is his wrath, and May, superficial adoration for her sister. As Corey and May make their way through the nightmare, seeing heavily damaged versions of June and Sven, and finally Amy, where her abdomen torn above a petal of a huge flower, while claiming that its beauty is of a type that men can never possess. In that moment, a wall collapses, lets inside some spiders, and two creatures go outside towards Corey and May. They fight, but one of the monsters decapitates May, causing Corey to wake up puking in the bathroom at the left of realizing that it was all dream. However, he felt an awful headache. Having lost the keys to his room, he decides to go into the Wang's room to see if May didn't have them, and also make sure she's okay after the nightmare. While traveling through the dorms, he finds an energy drink that puts him back on track, so he reaches the room of his girlfriend and wakes her up, gives the drink to her, and the boss decides to go to the party, leaving June.
Drink this. It worked for me. We're already late for the Delta Theta Gamma party. Will your sister come with us?
Oh, leave her. She's exhausted.
The scene changes to Amy. Amy was hanging out with her friends when they sniffed a strange flower. Afterward, she went to the party at the Brotherhood, where she waited outside in a bench, waiting for Sven, only to be found alone by Kenny. He convinced her to get inside, but since coming without the Wang twins, who knew the people inside, the Pouncer denied the entry to Kenny, which made them try to break into the frat house by a window on the first floor. But after they got in, the madness had started. They found a wounded woman who advised them to grab a pistol in the safe. After grabbing it, they returned to check on the girl, but it was too late. She mutated into a monster. Then the two would go on and meet the Professor Richard James, and later meet up with May and Corey.
But who are... Look out!
Why do we always have to go by car? We could have walked. And it wasn't even...
The scene shifts to Corey and May. Corey and May drive to the frat house, but when they arrive they notice a dead body Although May wants to leave, Corey decides to look for their friends and ensure their safety. After encountering the mutated creatures, they manage to reach a library, which below they would meet Amy and Kenny Matthews, who escaped the nightmare. They are introduced to Professor Richard James, the university biology professor and the mentor of the Brotherhood, who was examining the body of a runner. Corey would recognize it as Matt due to his tattoo. After chatting, the professor advised them to find the exit through the dance hall. He would also give them a lecture about the creature's heart and its blood that possess a special protein that could be extracted with a special syringe to form a serum which would boost one's energy.
Inclined to agree. Students remain as they are, quite oblivious of certain biological law.
We took an energy drink to fight off a headache. Maybe that counters whatever it is that makes you go crazy. Hell, I don't know.
I haven't felt anything. I'm going to do some tests on this flower and this student. You'll find an exit if you go through the dance hall. Good luck.
Later on, Corey and Kenny made their way through the building, and the two managed to reach the exit. Once outside, the group of the students are greeted by Sven Hansen. The student about to mutate steals Corey's car to escape. Corey, loving his car dearly, chases after him furiously, with Amy following on behind him, while May and Sven got news in the walkies that June is in trouble, that the monsters is coming after her. May tells June to barricade herself in a room and not to go outside or make a noise.
What on earth is happening?
We're going to get my sister.
Kenny, get over here! We need you!
I can't. I ran out of medicine and I need it badly. I'm starting to feel awful. I need to go to the hospital.
Chasing his car, Corey goes into the woods with Amy and reaches the vehicle when it left the road and fell from a medium-sized cliff.
My baby! He crashed! My baby!
Don't you think you're exaggerating a bit? And what about May, huh?
He crashed my baby! That bastard! You can't hide! I'll have your skin, jerk!
Enraged, Corey descends into the valley while finding a chainsaw to find out that the student who had stolen the car had already turned into a huge monster. The boy, however, manages to retrieve the shotgun in the trunk that his father entrusted him with. They use it to kill the creature. The two decide to go through the forest and they spot a disfigured man dragging a body bag, and they duck to avoid his attention. Before they can do anything, they are attacked by small animals called the Harpies that force them to flee in the direction of the hospital.
What is that? Huh? What the?
They arrive in the back entrance of Fall Creek University Hospital. After fighting some more harpies, they get in from a window of the first floor. Once inside, they are contacted via walkie-talkie by May and Sven. Corey, realizing he had left his girlfriend to chase a car, apologized to her for his behavior.
It's dead.
I'm worried about you, Corey.
I know. I'm sorry, honey. I've been an idiot.
Corey, it's June. I'm gonna look for her at the dorm with Sven.
Hey dude, good news! June's car is still here. As soon as we get the keys, I'll bring the twins back, I promise. And by the way, you'd better take care of my blonde girl, okay?
Don't worry. We're gonna stay here a while. It seems peaceful. Be safe, okay?
You know me.
I love you, Corey.
The scene changes to Sven and Amy. Arriving at the university grounds, they make their way through the horribly changed students and are forced to access the dormitory through a window because the electrical system of the main door has been destroyed. When they reach June's room, the two see June being thrown out of a window by a huge creature, who then rages on them. June surviving the clash and returned to the ground floor. The kids follow the movements of June, who survived it and is now imprisoned in the basement. By the circuit of cameras, June manages to open the doors so that the two can reach her, but arrive too late.
Yeah? Is something wrong?
It's June! She's dead!
What? What happened? May? May?
Oh,
May, answer!
I can't leave her
May,
like
please,
this!
we need to go!
Moving back to Corey and Amy, after they heard the news from Sven and May that they are going back to the university to save June, they decide to get down to the ground floor, but by doing so they enter in a room where Kenny and Shannon are searching for his medication. Kenny couldn't take it anymore and succumbs to the mortiphilia and expulses a great amount of black spores, which Amy and Corey escape from until getting to the elevator. Corey fixes it, Sven and May reach the hospital, and once they got out the car, they're approached by some Harpies. They go through the front entrance through not without difficulty, because while Sven closed the door, a huge creature tried to prevent it. Sven and May finally reunite with the group.
Here we are.
Corey!
Someone will pay for what happened to June. I promise.
Just focus on getting out of here alive, okay?
When approaching the Professor Richard James, he hands them an improved battery. Sven asks how he did. The professor replies that he surfed the internet. He tells them that they can access the parking lot, and he gives them a concussion to make a homemade explosive. Then Corey and Sven goes together and make that homemade explosive under the instructions of Professor James. Once made, Corey and Sven try to find a way to get into the parking lot, while joking and talking as Corey tells him that if he and Amy survive the night, they'll become a couple. Eventually they are successful and reach a door that leads them through a warehouse, but as the whole group proceeds to go through the parking lot, they are assaulted by a now mutated Kenny. Sven and Amy are knocked out along with almost everyone else. Corey and May are only one fighting. Corey and May are the only ones left standing. They fight him.
Finally, it looks like we're gonna have a little party. Now, you're gonna know the meaning of regret. Oh, I didn't do it on purpose. But now, I'm gonna have some fun.
Enough, Kenny, enough! Kenny, you've become a major jerk, man. We're no longer family, Shannon. The same blood doesn't run through our veins anymore. The pain has gone, and I have opened my eyes.
Stan Jones and Shannon Matthews arrive on the scene and battle with Kenny some more. After taking sufficient damage, he leaves the hospital. Corey mourns May's death. Sven and Amy watch their friends in empathy and offer a moment of silence. After fighting with Kenny and forcing him to flee, the group escaped in Stan's delivery van. However, Stan had crushed the van in a nearby cliff after encountering one of the mutated monsters in the road. Stan awoke with Shannon inside the crashed van, and the duo decides to secure the nearby Fall Creek Dam in order to shelter their friends. After exploring the structure, and they both find Amy inside the dam, which their surprise and could not reach her due to the elevator being broken. Stan then started to feel dizzy, and then Shannon contacted Sven and Corey for help. Sven and Corey, after regaining conscience, Corey and Sven find themselves alone in the van, and then contacted by Shannon and Stan, who need a wielder to repair an elevator inside the dam to reach Amy, because Amy is trapped in an engine room. Together with Sven, Corey explores the dam and the sewer system and manages to find a wielder. After repairing the elevator, the group is able to get to Amy, but then are attacked by Kenny, who implies that he had impregnated the girl. Eager for revenge, Corey, along with Shannon, fights Kenny again. After a long battle, they knock him down into a hole through the use of a number of levers to release a large metal component into his back.
I can't believe that he chose to become that thing. You've just killed your brother, Shannon. This nightmare's changing all of us. Forgive me.
In the meantime, while Corey and Shannon were fighting Kenny, Sven and Amy are already on a boat. They land near an isolated shore and find an abandoned house. Together they face a monster. They enter and discover a greenhouse. Sven remarks that someone must be living here, and indeed someone does. They encounter that someone, the disfigured man. The hostile disfigured man assaults Sven. Amy is distraught. However, Sven tells her to leave and he'll buy her time. After a brief struggle, the disfigured man gains the upper hand and knocks him out and drags him somewhere later. Stan, Shannon hear a distant scream. They decide to find Amy and Sven, worrying that it might be them. Arriving to where the scream came, Stan and Shannon shared a passionate kiss together. Before proceeding, they stumbled upon a house which Corey and the Professor James had also found. They explored the house and found a terrified Amy hiding inside a closet. Amy told them that Sven and herself managed to find the house first, but was attacked by the disfigured man with a chainsaw. Sven was holding him off while she escapes, but suspect that Sven might have been captured. Stan and the survivors looked all around the house, finding a door, and the only way to open it with a strange statue's mechanism. After they open it, they find Sven, but unfortunately it was too late. Sven was impaled into a meat hook and was slowly dying. Then the disfigured man showed himself, putting a chainsaw in the back of Sven to end his work, to end his job, then escaped through the already closing door. But Stan managed to get through and chased him with Shannon as Stan's company.
You're dead!
Sven! Sven! Don't leave me! You have to stay with me!
Stay. With you.
As they were exploring the underground ruins to find Sven's killer, Stan and Shannon cannot help but feel nostalgic about the place, only to find that they have been led back to Leafmore High, the very place where their worst nightmare had occurred. Corey, Amy, and Professor James caught up with the duo at Leafmore High, walking through the school and finding a way to find Sven's murderer. They found him. Stan was shocked to discover that what was left of Leonard Friedman is still alive and is being cared for by Sven's killer, who turned out to be Leonard's son Jedediah and is also responsible for growing the flowers that had infected most of the populace of Fall Creek. Stan and Corey battled Friedman and Jedediah.
Believe it. It's Friedman. I thought we killed him 2 years ago. It's this jerk who injected us with the black spores when he was still principal. I need to take daily medication because of this jerk. What did you do with those flowers?
He was sick. Now he gleams.
He grafted the flowers onto himself. That's how he managed to spread his plague. Through the flowers. Sven and May and June? It's time to do some weeding.
Dad?
Dad is dead. Won't make any more flowers. But you can still chop him up into firewood with that chainsaw of yours. Get a nice fire going. Get all warm and comfy while your daddy burns. Of nightmares and traumas, and then this.
Help has arrived. Meet us at the parking lot.
Come on. It's time to go back. Is that the help you promised? Where are the cops? What's your problem?
She's our responsibility now. My dear Stan, the mortophilia that you knew 2 years ago was only a dress rehearsal, of which this is the ultimate evolution. The Friedmans only just failed. Their plant refused to be subjected to the demands of the human body. But this evening, nature has helped us well.
Nature? Not likely. Friedman was still alive.
Was? Oh. At least he will have completed his work. Your friend has brought us new hope.
You pig! You watched all those people die without doing anything!
My colleagues were late to arrive. I'm sorry. These sacrifices were inevitable.
Where is Shannon?
Oh, you will be with her soon.
I want to sleep.
And they wish to study the plant, and they need Stan and the group as test subjects. Both Stan and Shannon later on have an accident when they are in the ambulance, and they manage to survive and get out of the ambulance. And from a walkie-talkie, they learn that Corey escaped too, and that he is going after them, and they are located in the stadium. Corey being angry seeing Ken was there, decides to go all alone to confront him. Shannon and Stan's worrying for their friend ask him not to and to wait for them. Corey gives no response. Stan and Shannon being worried about Corey and his impulsiveness, they run to the stadium where they find Kenny and Corey. Then we learn that Kenny has infected Corey with the mortophilia and telling him that he will be his family now and his brother. Corey looking back at Shannon and Stan, apologizing.
I will be the same.
You know what, Kenny? There's only one person I ever belonged to. And it was May.
Then Stan and Shannon have the last battle with Kenny, with Shannon and Stan being victorious and kills Ken for the last and final time. Ken then, in his dying breath, tells Shannon to take care of his baby. Shannon looking back at her brother and saying, "Don't worry, I will cut all family ties," meaning that she will kill what is in Amy's abdomen. Stan and Shannon looking in the far distance towards the helicopter where they see Professor James and his colleagues from Delta Theta Gamma flying away with Amy. After a few seconds, we see a spores explosion. The helicopter exploded and black spores is engulfing a large portion of the sky.
Don't worry. I'll make sure it will be dealt with. I won't allow it to live.
Shannon!
About Delta Theta Gamma Brotherhood. The Delta Theta Gamma Brotherhood is a science fraternity in Fall Creek. From the outside it looks like a simple college club. However, it's actually an ancient organization that has vast power in the finance, politic, and science community. They are the main antagonist fiction of the series. The faction is considered a true antagonist of the series since it's involved heavily in the work of the freedman's brother by sending them unwilling test subjects and turning them into a martyr of science. After the event of Obscure, they managed to manipulate the mayor to cover up the incident and confiscate all the research data and creature from Leafmore to study. During the event of Obscure 2, they want to get their hand on Amy since they consider what inside her womb is the progress of the best experiment on mortophilia. The Delta Theta Gamma is a secret society whose interest is primarily scientific, founded in 1805 by Jared Crowley, born in 1760, date of death 1852. The organization still lodges throughout all 96 nations with their respective location and their respective Grand Master of Ceremonies, controlled by an administrative group known as the Honorable Brothers and following the codes written by the honorary members over the years. The Brotherhood follows doctrines and analysis esoteric ideologies with scientific eye, remaining closely tied to its three pillars: knowledge, excellence, and philanthropy, ideal and power. The main ideal of Brotherhood is to provide benefit to the world by separating the upper-minded from the other, so that these educated by them can drive humanity in a better future. To achieve this objective, the Brotherhood interprets The Brotherhood interprets anything expandable, including human life, in order to have in their side the best minds of each generation. The sect has been established in different universities, hiding behind the facade of the student fraternity. Only students with the highest yields can join the ranks of the Brotherhood, and thus have free access to the many privileges it confers. Precisely for these reasons, the Delta Theta Gamma organizing exclusive parties in many universities in order to maintain always high the entering interest to join, taking advantage of the young age of the new members. The Brotherhood plague their minds, making them become faithful followers, and to recognize the Brotherhood tool to improve the world through science, teaching them that whatever is expandable for the benefit of humanity. Only when members are assured of the loyalty of these new recruits are subjected to a baptism over time, you can access the numerous and tighter control circles, very similar to machinery system, those being able to rely on the minds which gradually occupied the command posts of different countries. The Brotherhood grew their power to take political control and to expand in the world. In 1903, honorary member Theodore Willage became President of the United States, this opening doors to the Brotherhood to the US political system, and on April 16 of that year lent oath to provide all legislative, administrative, and financial assistance under the Brotherhood. He assured that any president from then on it was one of their members, so that political power remained in their hands. The scientific interest of Brotherhood, however, took a turn in the early 900s, when Herbert and Leonard Friedman presented them the great discoveries made in their expedition in Africa, which took place 5 years ago, during which they discovered a plant with great potential, the Myrtophilia. According to the studies of twins, repeatedly rejected by the scientific community, from such a plant he could have been synthesized a serum capable of giving eternal life. Enraptured by this possibility, the May 6th of 1904, the members of the Brotherhood voted unanimously to enroll the Friedman studies between the codes of Brotherhood, and offering them all possible support in order to achieve their goals. The Friedmans denied any help of the Brotherhood, but due to their lack of money for new equipment and the Brotherhood's cover-up of the kidnaps, they joined as an honorary members. The sect slowly began to devote itself exclusively to the research on the Myrtophilia, which in their opinion could only benefit the world, given the victory over death. But wanting to go further, Leonard tested the serum in himself, becoming almost one with the plant, which looked like a monster. In an attempt to save him, Herbert began to kidnap students from Leafmore High School, founded by the twins in 1902, to have a facility, the school lab, where they can work on the Myrtophilia and use them in his experiments to find an antidote to his brother mutation. Taking advantage of his considerable influence, the Brotherhood covered up the numerous disappearances, preventing them to be carried out in-depth investigations about as he continued to develop with the technological progress of the current century. The infection of Leafmore in 2003 put an end to the experiments of Friedman, and therefore the Brotherhood found itself deprived of the possibility of access to eternal life. They silenced the authorities and the press, so that the entire episode was diminished to only be a gloomy urban legend for public opinion, and finally recovered all the finds on the case of high school, given the potential for contamination of Myrtophilia. Brotherhood instituted a special force to handle quarantine for any accidents. Without the twins, however, the Brotherhood was not able to continue the search until 2005, when the entire city of Fall Creek finds itself at the center of a new massive infection. Their own headquarters on the site of the infection became threatened, and informed by the honorary member of the local fraternity and mentor, Richard James, the Brotherhood organizes a team to retrieve the survivors on the site to be studied as infected. Particular interest is directed toward Amy Brooke, Fall Creek University student, impregnated by a mutated Kenny Matthews, who is carrying the union between the human being and the mortophilia, an incredibly important study sample for the research fellowship. That's all we know about the Brotherhood. I hope you enjoyed the video.
With